Hey guys, so this is another breakthrough I have with visual Q&A on a document. So this is just one page of an archive article by Google on distillation, step-by-step distillation. And basically I asked it the question if it can give me an explanation of the text in this image in a causal graph, a diagram, in an image format so I can understand it easier, just this abstract. I'm very aware of the content of this article, so for me it's just a test sample. And then it went on to say blah blah blah. Well, here we have to break it down to the summary, and then from the summary we build an image. But this is totally wrong. This part here is completely wrong. It's totally hallucinated. So somebody coming into this article not knowing what it's about and haven't read it, they may take this as on face value, but if they're really experienced in the field, they would know. But a lot of this summarization is also for educational purposes. It's not just to get a summary of something you already know, but it's, you're, trying to understand something, right? So the purpose of it is to understand something. So to hallucinate is not an option. For it to hallucinate is not an option. You may be caught off guard and you may buy it as the truth, and then you're screwed, right? You then take this and you go to your work and you say, this is how this method works. And everybody is like puzzled by what you're saying because it makes no sense whatsoever. Same thing with lawyers, basically taking ChatGPT's answers and going into court and getting basically penalized by the judge or disbarred. AI is not ready for business, the way it is. OpenAI is not ready for business. It's complete, utter, BS. It's just a hairball of hallucinations, it's just here and there it does something good. When it tries code is good because code is less ambiguous than natural language. Natural language is really full of potholes of ambiguity. It's really hard to extract something from it that's clear and not ambiguous. You often gonna fall into the trap, right? When you're interpreting natural language, even a human would. So that's the idea is with visual aid, we need to elevate that to, something certain and something grounded. So here's what it came up with. This is supposedly the causal model. I can't even read what this is and what the heck is this, It's OpenAI on crack, basically the model says I can do anything, but it just fails miserably at almost everything except code sometimes, right? It still hallucinates on code, but a lot less than on natural language and causal graphs and things like that. So human labels, I guess that's human labels, human dagas. I'm not sure what the dagas are. Maybe they're dags in Canadian. I have no idea. So anyways, so I tell it that this is wrong, and then it's like, I apologize, blah blah blah, and now it tries to go at it again, and again, it doesn't make any sense. So our approach is vastly different than that. It does have the pre-trained model as a component in the system, but it has a lot more than that to ground the output and make sure it's accurate and that it makes sense at all, And so basically I pass this document through it. I get the intermediate representation in our ASCII-like format, and then basically it goes through specific symbolic process to yield something more certain, and does not include statements like the one where it says it gets its rationales or initializations and data from smaller models. That's not how the method works. So anyways, we don't have any hallucination here. We have some ambiguity that is really easy to deal with, but it's here let me explain. So this is a method, distillation method. It uses less training data. It outperforms large language models by training language task-specific models, right? But the link here is that, if you were to take that it trains this and then it will require more data, that's the wrong assumption. But there's a limitation of the visual language here that I have to work on. So basically what this is saying is that the task-specific model requires large amount of data, but that this approach actually uses less training data. So if you take this part here with this part here, then you know that this part doesn't apply, that this model, that this is just traditionally task-specific models take more data. But but this method allows you to use less data. So then it repeats it here again. It says it in numbers, that the T5 language translation model was trained with 770 million params versus PALM's 540 billion params, and it outperformed PALM and used 80% of the available data. So 20% saving in data, not more data. And that really is a very useful thing compared to all this crap right here where it gives us the wrong information and then gives us some kind of BS diagram. I'm looking for investors, by the way, so if you know anybody, refer them to me. It's ripe and ready to within a few months of more development to get, it will be ready for visual Q&A that's grounded, more like grounded visual Q&A on documents. So it will be really cool.